But what we've uncovered is that there is a very concerning global supply and demand issue. And currently, right now, people are in a sterile doctor's office where a salesperson enters the room. They're handed a binder with limited surrogate and donor options and a salesperson that's eager to close the deal.
Welcome to another episode of Forging the Future. And today I'm speaking with Tiffany Lewis and Raika Djalali,
Yes.
the founders of Allkind. So thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, thanks so much for having us here.
So speaking of being here, how did you get here? How did you decide to found Allkind?
It has been a fun and exciting journey for sure. But Raika, do you want to start off?
Yeah. I think it's been very exciting so far. Tiffany and I, we met, I would say almost 2.5 years ago now. And the minute we met, there was like this instant spark of knowing that our backgrounds and our experience really kind of went well together. I was the director of business development. She was the executive marketing director. And our experiences while working together, we knew that there was so many different ways to really improve the fertility field, but specifically kind of working with the families, the donors, and the surrogates that are all involved in this beautiful process of making babies. And so we decided to start Allkind together, and it's been a labor of love, and we've really kind of embraced being able to handle, manage, and embrace chaos a little bit because it's been a long journey to get to where we are today, but I'm very excited to have had each other and to be able to build Allkind together.
Well, I've only known you for a little while now because you just came into the Soft Tech Venture Studio, just had your first big week here.
Yeah.
And if I had to guess, I would think that you've been best friends since kindergarten or you're sisters or something, because you really do have a connection working together. And I think that's, of course, quite a challenge when you co-found a company.
Absolutely.
And this is really your first company that you founded together, right?
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. I think I almost see it as it's more challenging without each other, without that support system of, I have a hard day sometimes and Tiffany is able to kind of pick up where I'm needing a little bit of break and vice versa. So it's been amazing having each other.
Definitely.
So you're the founders of Allkind, and maybe tell me a little bit about taking that red pill and leaving. I don't know if you were at a corporate job before then, but
at a clinic. Yeah.
At a clinic, and you just decided, hey, we're going to step out into the world and start this journey.
Yes.
Was that scary or not?
It was, but it was also so exciting. And I think that we, for whatever reason, we're very confident in ourselves and what we were building. And so we just took the plunge. We really knew that it would be best if we were able to commit ourselves 100% to creating Allkind. We wanted to bring the innovation that's been begging, it's so essential to bring some more innovation and technology into this space and to really help improve access and transparency that's been needing to come and help the families that are participating and also on the other side of that, the candidates as well.
So tell me a little bit more about Allkind and who would like to give the elevator pitch?
We're the founders of Allkind, and we are disrupting an industry where currently there are hundreds of thousands of families that are on wait lists, and they're spending an average of $250,000 for the fertility services.
But what we've uncovered is that there is a very concerning global supply and demand issue. And currently right now, people are in a sterile doctor's office where a salesperson enters the room. They're handed a binder with limited surrogate and donor options and a salesperson that's eager to close the deal. And with our backgrounds, working at the Fertility Center as the director of marketing and business development, we knew that we could do better. And it had turned out that we were right.
And so overnight, we had this incredible success where we were able to recruit a large amount of really top quality donor and surrogate candidates that work with us at Allkind. And that's within this $60 billion industry, we realize there's really no centralized way to connect them using, technology. And so these families that are on these wait lists now have a different option. And our customers are the fertility clinics who have all of these parents that are currently on these wait lists. And so they need to utilize our resources in order to provide their services to their customers, which is the parents.
That's great. And you did this through some unusual marketing, right?
That is true. Yes.
That is true. Using social media really was where we kind of found our success. If you want to share more about that.
Yeah, sure. That's when we knew that it was time to go full into following this dream that we had with Allkind. And that's when we went on TikTok actually initially. And we started just trying to reach out to this demographic that hadn't been, really communicated with, to speak to them of what this would be able to do for them. And so we went on TikTok, and then overnight we went viral and had 65,000 people apply to be a part of our program, and actually really did crash a server. And so that was
a lot of angry calls.
Yes. Don't post another TikTok until I tell you can. And so that was when we knew that there really is this interest there, and that someone just hadn't connected with them to let them know what the benefits could be and how they could not only benefit themselves financially and maybe pay off some like college debt, or, start something that they're trying to dream after. Yeah, buy a home, but also be able to help benefit someone else in following their dream of creating the family that they have always wanted.
Yeah, I had no idea that it cost that much to find someone.
Yeah, and the wait list, right? That was what was the most shocking, is that they're waiting a year plus for a candidate that's interested in surrogacy to help them kind of actualize that dream of having a baby. And the clinics were unable to find those candidates. But really, if you just send out a message to the people who could potentially be interested, there is millions of people that would love to help other people and also, help themselves financially as well.
And had you been active on TikTok before, or why did you pick TikTok other than it's kind of the new thing?
Well, what I found when I was working at the clinic is that really the focus had been very much so in addressing the needs of the parents. And that's part of our success, is that right now in the industry, of course, all of these companies that are here helping the parents that are struggling with infertility, that's what the marketing is really focused on, is bringing more and more of those people to come in and be able to provide a service. But that is very different than the way that you would be communicating to a surrogate or donor. And so I think now in today's age, you can't really be very successful by doing blanket marketing and thinking that you can resonate with all of these different audiences. And so our approach was to go on a platform where we knew we would be connecting with the main group of people that are using that social network. And so it was the right age range. It was the right way where we could just, in a brief moment, not get into all the details, but just say, hey, here's something that might really benefit you with where you're at in your journey in life. And then that's where we then take it from there and then continue to nurture those relationships. So the platform just kind of served well to who we were trying to connect with. But it's continuing to do well for us today. And it's that demographic has grown a lot, but I think that it's just it's a fun platform that really does end up bringing in content that resonates. And so we're just trying to stay on top of like, how do we best connect with that audience that we're trying to reach, and then continue them forward in the journey by helping them know more about what's to come next. So that's just like the first entry point, but we really feel so fortunate to be supporting our community that we're building at Allkind, and then nurturing those relationships from that point forward too.
That's great. Yeah, I think nowadays it's one thing when companies are hiring with the newer generation of workers coming in, they're just so used to now, where they grew up using cell phones as their primary device, and when they come to a business, then one of their first questions is, well, do you have an app, right? How am I supposed to do my job without an app? But for you also, there's just, if you think about the complete journey with the different apps out there, from dating to otherwise, right? There wasn't anything like this, and now you've created an app to address this, right?
That's exactly
it's not just
right.
on TikTok. You can actually, you did it manually on TikTok, I suppose, and then now you're rolling out an app, yeah.
Right. So we're so excited for the platform we're building because once we realized how many people want to participate and how much of a need there is to have those people feel empowered in participating, we knew that we needed software in order to be able to scale our efforts, because there's only so many hours in a day, and we'd actually prefer to be able to put the power of that journey in the hands of the people who are going through it. So platform,
that was traditionally my role within the fertility industry, was to be that matchmaker. And so this app essentially takes the matchmaker that's kind of struggling to find those connections, because it really is very much the parent's decision. And so it's hard to put someone else in that role. But now you kind of take that person out of the way and allow these families to make their own decisions and have access to unlimited amount of candidates that kind of fit exactly what they're looking for. And now they have that option. So they're not limited anymore by geographic location or, by the limited pool of donors and surrogates at where they are. They have now this access to donors and surrogates on a global scale, and vice versa. These donors and surrogates now have the same access back to families who are on a global scale. So it's made this matchmaking be something that we're really proud of, but also I think that's really going to change this entire industry for the better.
Nice. So what brought you to the Venture Studio? What were you interested in Soft Venture Studio?
Tiffany and I originally don't necessarily come from a tech background. So we understand the concept and have the vision of exactly what we're hoping to have come out of this type of tech that we're introducing into this medical and fertility space, but having a team that really understands the power of technology and the capabilities of what we can do on a really global scale was what initially intrigued us. Okay. And post that, being now in the program, I think the connections with other successful entrepreneurs and excited and passionate entrepreneurs has been equally as important for our growth.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like you did great with that.
Well, I'd say one thing that I noticed early on about the both of you is you do have an energy and a drive. And I know you attended the Venture Houston event a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
So tell me that story where you went up there. So there was a speaker. So Gwyneth Paltrow was on the stage talking about her company. She brought her partner, investor, VC, Graycroft, right?
That's
and
correct.
So then what did you do?
So it's very funny. We didn't know at the time that this was going to end up being such a fun story. Yes. So, but we're happy that we get to share it because now it feels pretty cool. But we're just really excited to get here. I think that we've kept our heads down for a long time and just been trying to push forward as quickly as we can. And then right when we got here last time was the Venture Houston event. And so we were eager to get there. And especially knowing that Gwyneth and Graycroft were attending, we were making sure that we were close to the front for that one. But then we definitely did strategically plan to be by the side of the stage when that was coming to an end, so that we would just happen to bump into them. And
Dana was specifically who we were really excited to bump into. And as Tiffany said, luckily we were right there at the bottom of the stage and just did our 30-second pitch and ended up.
That was the Graycroft VC. What was her name?
Dana. And so she's
one of the founders of that fund, investment fund. And we made sure to take a photo because I'm sure she meets lots of new founders who are eager. So we took a photo right then, went back to our seats, emailed her and one of the other representatives from Graycroft right then about it being a pleasure to meet them both with our photos so she'd remember us. And fortunately, they were impressed by what we were building and excited about it and have now introduced us to their digital health department as well. So that's an ongoing communication that we've started with Graycroft, and we'll see where that goes.
So that's a tip. Don't be scared and take a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great story because I think that as a founder, you really need to have that, first of all, drive and tenacity. And also, you know, a lot of founders do tend to be even introverts. I'm not sure either one of you are introverts, but if you just seizing those opportunities, you know, events aren't just to sit there and learn; they're networking opportunities. And out of the founders that were there, I don't know anyone else that got the email and number of the VC that was on the stage. Right? So
well, thank you.
Kudos for that. That's really what I think a skill that you need to have, you know, and not be afraid, like you said, you know.
Yeah,
so.
I will say,
go ahead.
That our experience being having sales in both of our backgrounds has been very beneficial in this aspect where what's the worst that can happen? If you're polite and you're kind and you're talking to someone because you respect what they've done, then go for it. The worst that they can say is that they're not interested right now, but you have a lot more to lose and miss out on if you don't just introduce yourself, and you have nothing to be embarrassed of. You should be proud of what you're building, and if they're not interested, then the right opportunity will come when it's ready.
Absolutely. Is that, you think the sales part is one of your superpowers for you?
I would say so. Early on in my career, I had the opportunity to do some outside sales, and I had a boss that really threw me into the deep end and was kind of just like telling me to show up at some of these like big name companies and just get a meeting with that person. And I remember the first time being like all shaky, like what are they going to do when I show up here? They're going to have me thrown out. And now I really reflect back on that as being something I'm very grateful for. I think that's what gave me the confidence to be waiting at the end of the stage to say hello to Dana. And that's something that I think is coming in handy now.
Nice. Raika, anything that you think you bring as a superpower?
Yeah. So similarly to Tiffany, I come from a sales background as well initially. And then, you know, being able to kind of transition that sales of hearing a lot of no's myself, but then work within the fertility space where it's such a different conversation, and it's not sales, and it's deep, and it is, you know, really meaningful work that you're doing. So, you know, being able to know kind of in which situations, what foot to put forward, I guess. But also I think the background just within fertility, just being right out of college and having my first internship with one of the VPs at one of the clinics I worked at, and remembering how, you know, the intern life of hustle and grind and make a name for yourself. I remember back then I would do 8 hours a day. I was still doing my last semester of college, so I was still working and doing school. And then at night, you know, I remember she would give me her laptop, and I would take it home and finish all her emails.
As the VP.
As the VP, right? Like I would take her laptop home and I would answer all her emails, and she would get hundreds of emails a day. And so learning how to really quickly adapt to your environment. And so I think that's been...
I want to brag for you though a little bit about a superpower is that when we met in the clinic and the way that it's been done, it really is treated like a sales pitch. And it's like the doctor tees it up and then they send in someone that's like in Raika's position to go close the deal. And there was such a lack of humanity and compassion in the way that it was being addressed. And her ability to take somebody that just heard some devastating news, something that they had anticipated their whole life that they were going to be able to start a family in a traditional way. And then they exhausted so much financially and emotionally to try to make that happen by IVF or other fertility treatments. And then when the doctor says, you know, we've exhausted all options, but you can still have a family. It's just not going to look like the way you thought it was. Here's a binder with 3 options for you. Like just pick one. And I mean, that shocked me when I first entered into the space. But her ability to take somebody that was in that kind of situation that was so harsh and really provide this level of empathy and compassion and care that made them feel that there was someone that was their advocate, that was looking out to like help them through this difficult time, while also being able to do her job successfully and navigate that, I think is unique and was really special, and part of why I just admired her right off the bat of her ability to do both and be professional and personal.
Nice.
I appreciate that. And I want to take a second to bounce back to her. and the reason I'll say this is because she is, being the oldest of 3 sisters, she has this unbelievable, and it's like this superpower of actually empowering other women. And I think that's so special and important and needed in today's climate. I think the more that we can support one another and work together on empowering each other, it only makes us stronger. And so that's something that Tiffany does really incredibly well. So I'm equally as lucky to have her as my partner in all of this.
Well, it's nice that you're each other's fan.
Thankfully, yeah, it works. We can lift each other up in the hard times.
Yeah, that'll probably be needed at some point. So what you've highlighted is that empathy was lacking in this process, and you had a particular skill set in bringing empathy to the process. How do you translate that empathy to the technology that you're building?
That's huge. That is, I think, a lot of where, unfortunately, the current system needs a little bit of help is the fact that within these roles where it is slightly sales focused to, make sure that that match and that connection does ultimately happen, the person that's in that role is sort of responsible for making that connection get to the final stage. And I think when you have that added pressure of that sterile doctor's office where you were just given sad news, that's not necessarily the environment that you need to make such a personal decision. And the feedback that we've gotten from a lot of families that have been in this journey and kind of faced that moment of, wow, life is going to look a little bit different than what I anticipated. They would have loved to have the opportunity to go home, reflect, and have a system where at any given time, wherever they are, they have access to all the candidates that they need, and they get to make that decision at their own pace, at their own home, and, on their own time.
I see. So essentially, returning the decision back to the parents that are looking for the solution, and it's more personal for them, and you don't have this in between.
I think that brings the humanity back into a field that is creating the next generation of humanity. Yeah. So that's at least my take on it.
Yep.
And they can also, like you said, I mean, you're not doing that in the moment where it's not necessarily the best mood or in the best environment, but you can take like the app and go home and sit on a weekend and just start talking about it and start trying to find someone that really aligns with, your values or what you're looking for. Because it is a highly personal decision.
Very personal.
Yeah.
Right. So that's huge for us. I think that's why we're so excited for the platform to be done pretty soon here, because we do have a lot of that empathy and compassion, but to do it manually, there's only so many people we'd be able to help at once, but this is going to allow people to be doing it on their own. And so that's a first. That's going to be definitely revolutionizing the space where it's not based upon how fortunate you are by finding somebody like Raika to be your care manager or that's going to work you through the journey. Now you are the one that's going to be able to make those decisions and not have to worry about that trust, or is that person providing me with everything that they can in this one of the most important decisions probably of their life.
Yeah, absolutely. So naming a company is hard. And you've named your company Allkind. So I imagine there's a reason behind that.
I will let our branding and queen of vision take this one over, because this was so genius and I love that she created this.
Thank you. I love brand identity, and I think that it's so important in order to be able to create something that is impactful and meaningful. So I hope that a lot of people feel the way Raika and I do about Allkind, but it came to us when we realized that this is something it's a deep personal issue. This isn't something that's only relevant to men. It's not only relevant to women. And so we named it Allkind. So not mankind, not womankind, but Allkind. And also that encompasses the fact that we're here to serve all kinds of people at all kinds of places on their personal life journey. And that there's all kinds of resources and ways that we hope to help benefit their lives.
That's very nice. And was allkind.com available, or what
Not
did you?
Yet. So there's nothing there. So I went on quite a hunt to try to get it.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to help me out with that.
But right now you can find us on joinallkind.com.
There we go.
Join Allkind. Joinallkind.com.
Yeah, join us.
or on all of our socials too. Join Allkind, because it's about joining the journey of Allkind and, the next generation of humanity, supporting each other.
Well, you're definitely forging the future of fertility. What's particularly challenging about the position you're in? It sounds like it's ready for disruption, and you've already told us how you're disrupting it. But
right. I feel like the timing is serendipitous. The timing of Raika and I coming into each other's path, the timing of this technology that's going to be accessible, and how that's going to be, how we hope it's going to be well received by the people who will be using our platform. But other than that, I think that the disruption, the challenges of that are more so about just where do we go from here and how do we continue to expand, and ensuring that we are constantly staying vigilant about understanding the feedback that we get once we continue to get this out to more and more people. So we hope to just be able to stay on our toes, and I'll let you add on here, but.
No, I think that was really great.
So one of the other things I imagine that your platform solves is just there's a lot of personal information that goes into that, right?
Yeah.
And so is that a challenge as far as, both gathering that and protecting that?
I can jump in here. It hasn't been a challenge. And we've taken the traditional model of the fertility industry as a whole, and the questions that are CDC guidelines and ASRM guidelines, American Society of Reproductive Medicine, and taken that and then even extended the questions to almost really, make sure that personalize it, but also make sure that the candidates that are putting in all of that information are very serious about the journey that they're about to go on. And I think that's actually been a big contributor to our success within this space, because the candidates that we do provide with the egg donors, sperm donors, and surrogates that we do send to the clinics for their parents actually have so far had 100% success rate. So they've stayed through the entire journey and really committed to what they signed up for. And so I think it hasn't been a challenge. Yeah, it hasn't been a challenge to collect, 250 questionnaires from young, incredible people. And
is that how many questions there are?
It is.
Literally?
Yeah. And so
that's
we're
maybe
working
a way to judge the commitment, right? It's not like 3 questions and you're done.
That's right.
You got to go through 250.
Absolutely. And that's really the information that is sent on to the clinics, and also what the parents get to see a little glimpse of as well. And so when they're making that decision, so it provides that transparency to them to be able to get to know their candidates. They get pictures, they get videos, and it's very personalized, and you're able to kind of select the criteria that you're looking for and find personalized matches for yourself. So I think that hasn't really been difficult for us to obtain all of these applications, which has been really exciting.
But to continue on to that too, what we were really mindful about when we were thinking about how's the best way to approach this in order to keep people's personal information and their anonymity part of that while still keeping it personal, we made sure that rather than the current system, which would have in the small, little databases that have been out there, they identify people by an ID number. So donor number 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. That just seemed really impersonal to us. So what we're doing, which we are excited about, is we have them select during their onboarding process, I am, and they can pick an adjective that best describes themselves. So I am dynamic and I am energetic, or whatever kind of fits something. And not only does that help the parents that are looking to get to know somebody a little bit more, it also is hopefully going to help be a moment while they're going through it to empower themselves and find things that they love about themselves too. So on their profiles, it'll say where a name might be in some of the other similar.
What were your adjectives? Do you remember?
I filled out so many profiles as we went through this that I've probably selected them all at this point because of making sure that we worked through all the bugs. I think I liked dynamic though. I picked that one, and a leader, I think.
I think I was loyal leader.
But it was fun for us. We hope that it's fun for our donors and surrogates as well.
And the parents, because they get to learn more about that donor and surrogate that they're going to work with.
Right. And we do provide a little bit of information on like, are they in California? But that's where we leave that to that extent at this point, just because we do want people to feel that they're able to do this, but also that we're taking it very, very seriously, that we want to keep that privacy aspect as a part of this as well.
Absolutely.
And planning on working with SoftTech to continue to improve how we can make sure that people feel extremely safe and secure on the platform.
And so up to now, you've done it mostly manually, right? And so I think it's going to be great once we get the app done for you guys.
Yes, we're so excited.
Absolutely.
So a little bit of a speed round.
Okay.
So these are quick answers. You can take as long as you want, but how about a book that you would recommend or you're currently reading?
I currently am reading You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, and I think that's a really fun one because it kind of lets you tap into your own power, and I think everybody needs that.
And I was in between books, but I took notes when you spoke at the conference yesterday. And I believe you said The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
Yes.
And so just purchased that. So it should be waiting for me at home to get into that one. So thank you for the new recommendation.
Sure. No, I think you'll like that one. Any favorite tech gadget that you have right now?
I guess the one that I'm most attached to would be my phone. We gotta have the phone as new founders, accessible at all times, posting the TikTok, answering emails, getting on Slack with the SoftTech team. We just, it's like a part of the limbs now. If I don't have it, I feel like something's missing. And am I okay?
I'll piggyback on that. And I think mine would be a ring light for the TikToks that we do. It really does change the entire...
It doesn't work as well for me because it reflects in my glasses. It gives me like googly eyes or something. I don't know.
But it really...
It has saved us when we're tired after a long day. The ring light, like, whew, thank God for that.
Do you have the one that the iPhone mounts into? Have you seen those?
Oh, yeah.
We do.
We have a few different kinds.
We have a few.
The tools.
Really
tools
set up a
trade.
nice space for ourselves.
In the initial Allkind headquarters, aka my garage.
Nice. It's the iconic startup garage.
I know, we're going retro with it.
All right, an activity you like to do to blow off steam.
I want you to brag about it.
This is interesting. I do this, I would say, like almost on a weekly basis at this point, but archery.
Archery. Oh, okay.
Back when Katniss Everdeen and the Hunger Games came out, I don't know what it was, but it was something about how cool she looked when I was 16. So I forced my dad to go get me a compound bow and some arrows, and that has been something that's kind of stuck with me.
That's great. Actually, I had several of my children go through that phase where they had the compound bows and we went on competitions and shooting and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just, mine is just at like a local range, but it's outdoors and it's San Diego. So you get to do it year round. So
I need you to get me out there.
And it definitely does blow off steam. So.
Just make sure she doesn't put an apple on your head.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to see how good you are before I walk into any of that.
I'll record it and send it.
Okay.
What about you, Tiffany? Do you have any?
I would say I really enjoy cooking. So kind of going back to the Italian roots and growing up, the nonna in the kitchen and making homemade gnocchi, for me, it's almost like a meditative state when I do that. And by keeping busy in that sense, I can't burn the garlic or anything, right? So it forces me to be present in that moment and just getting the house smelling all good and then having everybody sit around and enjoy a meal together or something.
That
I
part
really
is
enjoy.
equally meditative.
Well, what time's dinner?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna have
Sounds good.
It's every Sunday.
Every Sunday pasta dinner. So you're more than welcome. I gotta get you some sauce.
Perfect. All right. And anything, where can people, we mentioned it earlier. Let's mention it again. Where can people connect with you?
Find us at joinallkind.com or on any of the social platforms, Join Allkind, and connect with us. We're excited to continue to expand our network of incredible egg donors and surrogates. So if you're interested, definitely find us on Join Allkind.
Great. And what's something new or exciting that we should look forward to? Besides the app.
The app, yes.
The app,
We're
of course.
so close. We are so close, and we're so excited. It's been a labor of love, and we're beyond proud to be at this stage.
Yes, I can't wait to see how everyone feels about it and getting people on there and letting people connect to improve modern family building.
Perfect. Well, thanks for being on.
Thank you so much.
Actually, I have a little something for you. I do like to wear different socks. You've probably noticed that about me.
I do.
I wore the Dr. Seuss socks today because I thought it was like kid related.
Yes.
Right? You know, my grandkids like that too. So
Thank you so much. I love socks myself. I'm such a fan.
We're going into the perfect season for them as well.
I don't know if you wear them.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
Oh my God.
Have you seen my laptop? This design is on my laptop.
Is it
I have a
really?
sticker that's like this exact color and print too.
So you get two pairs, so you can decide
Let's
whether you want to be
roll
Twinkies or
twins
not. Yeah.
We typically do that on
Always.
accident.
Always matching.
I love being twins with Raika.
You probably won't go with your pumps, but you know.
Actually, would make my feet feel way better right now after a
I know.
full
On
the
week of
plane.
wearing
Perfect
heels.
for the plane that we're about to jump on.
I know. Thank you so much. These are so cute.
Sure.
And I'm glad to join the cool sock gang with you.
There you go.
I noticed yesterday, so I was like,
did, yeah.
now I'm seeing a pattern. It's not just a one-time thing. Like, very cool.
I think I had my
you.
shuttle socks on during the Collide conference.
That was great.
Oh, yes.
But no, I was starting to recognize like this isn't just a one-off. Like there's a sock collection here that's impressive for sure. Well, thank you. This has been so fun. It's been an incredible week, and
I think this week is maybe going to change the direction of our entire lives. And I think a big
Almost
part
wanna
of that,
cry.
I know, I think a big part of that is the Soft Tech team and having this opportunity. So I just look forward to looking back on this one day and feeling like this was that pivotal moment that changed everything for us.
yeah, we were talking about that in the. I'm trying not to cry right now.
I'm gonna cry. No, don't.
We were
cry.
talking about that last night after the final event of the week, and truly, this feels like this is kind of that moment where the tides are changing, and all of this work and love and everything that we put into it, it's taking off in the direction that we knew it would, but it was a long kind of journey to get there.
It's a long, hard journey to get to this point.
Would you have thought like 2 years ago that you would be sitting here founding a company?
Never.
Yeah, life's unexpected, right?
Yeah.
Life is incredibly unexpected, but it has been the most rewarding experience, and it's just the beginning. And I can sense that, and what an exciting journey to come.
I
So,
know, definitely. Call to
I'm gonna
action.
I'm gonna look back and say, well, I knew them then.
We'll
Yeah.
say the same about you too.
Exactly. Helped us get to where we are. We're looking forward to the process and the journey, and that to be connected with all of you amazing people. It's been so inspiring. So
And other
thank
amazing
you.
founders who are so inspiring and incredible, and so
We feel very, very fortunate.
very fortunate to be part of the team.
Fortunate to be part of the whole program, and for meeting you and the other people at Softtech and the other amazing entrepreneurs. Like, yeah, this has been an incredible journey and so much excitement and a lot of hard work, but so much to look forward to.
Well, great. Well, thanks for doing the show.
Thank you.
you.